Hey everyone, so clearly PlayStation Experience is now over, happened this past weekend. As I mentioned, this Friday's Let's Talk PlayStation, I said I was going to be working all weekend and I wasn't going to be able to actually watch the conference live, and therefore I wouldn't have a whole lot of time to do a recap and impressions video like right after the event ended. So, but I did say I wanted to get something out, so here's that something. A few people kept hitting me up on Twitter and stuff asking me for my impressions of the event and wanted to hear my thoughts, so here's that little update video. I don't know how long this video will be, but then again, I can talk forever, so I'll try not to spend too much time talking about it because really all this information is already available. Like I said, we're not going to recap it, but you know, a few highlights obviously from PlayStation Experience Conference. Right away, you know, they started with Uncharted, the new DLC. It's going to be focusing on Chloe and Nadine. It's going to be a standalone, you know, piece of content, so it will be digital and retail. You don't need the original base game for it. I kind of like how Naughty Dog does that with their DLC as of recently. Specifically single-player DLCs. That looks great, very interesting. I think those are two fascinating characters. You know, one other notable thing was they're going to be doing a remaster for Parappa the Rapper, Loco Roco, and Patapon, some very beloved PlayStation classics right there. Great to see a return of those games. We saw some footage of the Crash Bandicoot remaster, which was totally great, by the way. I mean, when they announced that at E3 this past year, I was always kind of wondering, like, when are we going to see footage of that, and what is it really going to look like? You know, how much remastering is going to happen? Is it going to be like, say, you know, those PS2 remasters on PS3 where it literally still looks like the PS2 game, but they're just, you know, sharper and HD and a higher frame rate? Or are they really going to, like, retouch this thing like the Master Chief Collection, where they full on really redo those assets? And obviously it was more of that. The big takeaway from the conference is The Last of Us Part 2, so that was obviously great, a nice little teaser there. So I think what I would say is that it was I enjoyed the show thoroughly when I had gotten home that night to just rewatch, you know, the show and whatnot. I could feel, what I like about PlayStation Experience is that there's a lot of positivity, there's a lot of energy. It's just like there's good vibes. I can tell, you know, like it's one of those things where it's like you don't even really have to be there. You can watch it live, or you can watch, you know, the video after, and you can tell there was a lot of energy in that room, and there were people that were just like genuinely excited, and Sony was like genuinely happy about doing the event for their third year now. And you know, usually when you do something like when it's E3, for example, E3 it feels much more like a battlefield. You always can't kind of go into it with this expectation of like, I want to see big guns coming out. I want to see, you know, depending on what platform is your preference, you're always looking for like a winner to be declared, and you want it to be your platform. Like there's always that certain air of E3 where it feels so competition heavy. But with PlayStation Experience, this was an event made for fans by Sony, so the air is just different. You know, you watch it, you see these announcements, and it just feels there's more positivity to it. So even if you don't, you know, a lot of these announcements don't, you know, vibe with you, or they're nothing that you necessarily care about, you can still kind of like see where where it's coming from. You can see how like the things that they announce would make a lot of certain people happy, like you know, announcing those remasters for Parappa and Patapon and Loco Roco. I mean, those three games, those three games, they've got a nice small following of PlayStation fans, but they're not big games by any stretch of the imagination. And that's why I think that kind of announcement and that kind of move fits well at PSX. You do something at you make that announcement at E3, and sure, it has some impact, but I think it has more impact at a show like this. The Last of Us 2, I mean, Part 2, which I love that name, by the way. I like that they called it The Last of Us Part 2, so it's kind of a continuation. Which, by the way, we'll talk about that real quick. So The Last of Us Part 2, so Naughty Dog has actually already discussed a lot of the details about it after the actual conference aired. So we do know that it's mostly actually focusing on Ellie. We're playing as Ellie this time around. Ellie's 19 now. In the original game she was 14, so 5 years has passed. And they've discussed that the game is more so about hate than it is about love. You can kind of see that in the little teaser footage that we saw. And the game looks fucking fantastic, obviously. We don't see a whole lot, but we do see an older Ellie. We see a angry Ellie, it seems. It's just like, oh my god, Naughty Dog is so good at what they do. It keeps me very hopeful. At the same time, I'm still like a little bit torn, because I am with a lot of those people where it's like they could have done The Last of Us and just left it alone. and they didn't have to do a sequel. I think they really could have just left it alone. But the fact that they have justified doing a second one, and they even said that they were almost not going to do this game. They were almost not going to do part 2 of The Last of Us until they really found a story that made sense, and that's what happened. They did find a story that made sense, so that's where I also have the confidence in Naughty Dog. But I'm still kind of like torn between it, you know. Obviously, we'll wait until the game comes out and we can actually play it, but it does get me genuinely excited. I think you can't really go wrong, especially with PlayStation Experience, and they're doing it strictly for fans. It really is just like a full-on fun fest for people that like to play games and like to play PlayStation. So you can't really get too upset about it, but I liked it a lot. It sucks that I couldn't actually watch it live, because I feel like this was the one show that would have been great to watch live and see all the excitement stir over. But I'll try and go to one of these things eventually. That's the shitty part, man. I can't go to like any of these events because of like sometimes my job and like the money sometimes demanding for me to travel. But I'm kind of a penny pincher at the same time, which is why I'll sometimes save up a bunch of cash and then I like splurge it on a new TV. And it's like, I guess I could have went to PSX. I guess. But that's how I felt about PlayStation Experience. By all means, let me know what you thought of the event, and I'll see you guys this Friday for Let's Talk PlayStation. We'll cover up any other details we might have missed, and of course, what else is going on within the realm of PlayStation, and expect some the PS4 Pro review relatively soon, and some other stuff that we got going on in the pipeline. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you Friday.